Let's roll.
Whoa. Hello, this is Lisa Russick on the podcast. We are all psychic, and Misty is not here today. We so sad, but we do have Donna. Hi, Donna. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing really well. How are you?
I don't know why I just yelled that, but I was so excited. We've been talking, listeners and watchers. Anyway, Donna, do you still think we're all psychic?
I absolutely do think we're all psychic.
We're all psychic. Yes, I do too. And listeners and watchers, this is a video podcast on Spotify, and we're continuing from the last podcast with Donna. Like we kind of doing a whole thing that could be its own podcast too. So we want to talk to them about what we're talking about today, Donna?
We're going to be talking about angels again, but
Yes.
we're going to be talking about not only different ways to ask our angels for guidance, assistance, help, but also how to listen so
Yes.
that we don't miss the answer
Yes. And look,
because we will always be answered.
yes, there's always an answer. Always, always an answer. It's the most fascinating thing. And
Mhm.
just to break the ice, I'll tell the story I just told you if you want.
Mhm. Yeah.
Listeners and watchers, a very cool thing happened last night. I was with Eric, my boyfriend again. And we have been doing well, listeners and watchers. Thank you. And for putting up with my love life stories. So he was hiccuping, and he had this happen about 3 weeks ago where he hiccuped for almost 2 hours. And I was telling Donna about it. He was like, violent hiccups. I'm sure everyone's had that happen to him at some point, but this was like 3 weeks later, it happened again. And it had been 30 minutes, and I was just sitting there going, what can I do to help? Because, you just want to help someone when that's happening, anybody really, but it was him. And I was like, I want this to stop for him. And it popped into my head to ask an angel. It popped into my head finally. I was like, what can I? I'm trying to think of some remedy, and finally it
Mhm.
popped in my head. I'll ask an angel. And I will, angel, will you please stop? I just said angel. I didn't ask for any specific angel.
Mhm.
I asked for my guardian angel. I just said angels. I didn't say angels. I said angel.
Mhm.
Angel, will you please take away Eric's hiccups in my head?
Mhm.
In listeners and watchers, I told Dot of this, but I saw like kind of like felt green, I guess you could say. I kind of felt Raphael, Angel Raphael, as I understand that energy around us, and his hiccups just stopped. Nothing. Now that's a big answer. I mean, it's an obvious answer.
Yeah.
No more hiccups after that.
Yeah.
And for me, I was like, whoa, I told him that. He said, thank you. I said, tell the angel thank you. He said, thank you, angel.
Yes. Yes,
And
definitely.
he like awesome. And
I th- I think that's really important too, because I think a lot of times, again, we get busy in our heads.
yeah,
And once we get busy in our heads, we make things way more complicated than they need to be.
we usually do.
Really, yeah, there really is no wrong way to ask,
Yeah,
first of all.
very true.
There's no wrong angel to ask. And
There's no
if,
wrong. Yeah.
especially in the moment, you don't know which angel to call on,
I didn't think about it. I just said,
yeah, you
I,
just
and I
want
really
to.
did vaguely in my head have a little image of the angel with the wings and the
Mm-hmm,
just a typical
mm-hmm,
like an ornament or something.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the outline or the
Yeah, the
silhouette that we
outline with the
associate.
halo and the
Yeah,
ears and I mean the
yeah,
ears, the wings, and yeah. And the Catholics see all the time the angel with the halo
yeah,
and the yeah.
and the arched wings.
Yeah, yeah.
And again, it's okay. I think it's really important to just trust where we are
Yes.
and know that when we put that out there, whatever it is, sincerely, that request for help, right, for
I did have
aid,
a sincere
assistance,
feeling in
guidance,
my heart when
that's yeah,
and then I started questioning right after I asked, but it stopped so fast.
yeah.
I didn't have time to really go too far with it.
Right, which is wonderful
Yes.
because that keeps us then again from getting caught up in our heads. And
Yes.
we want to go and analyze the experience. It's like we analyze before we have the experience, we have the experience, and we analyze after the experience. I mean,
Absolutely.
again, is it wrong? No. Does it spend a lot of time that we wouldn't necessarily need to spend on that we could be doing something else? Absolutely. I believe that's absolutely the case. And I mentioned her on the first broadcast. I will mention her again. I think she's probably there's a lot of people out there, there's a lot of information out there. One of the people that I have found to be the most helpful and the most um that I resonated the most with her teachings is a woman named Sonia Choquette.
Okay.
That's C H
Yeah,
O
yeah, I remember you
Q U
talking about her.
E
Yeah.
T T E. In case anybody's interested, I just think she has such a natural and such a relaxed approach to all of this.
Yeah.
with a lot of really good information. But that's her main thing, is how much our egos want to get in and manage for us,
We
or
want
manage
to
things
tell
for
the
us.
angels how to do it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Not only what we
Idea,
want,
our
what we
expectation.
need, but how, right, but how it should be delivered and what we
Mhm.
expect, right?
Yes.
I think the only expectation, if you want to call it that, that we should have is that we will get an answer.
Yes, you're right. You're
If
right.
we have any, and even if we're uncertain about a
Mhm.
lot of things, I think if we tell ourselves, okay, whatever, I put it out there, I asked from a sincere place in me, in my
Yeah.
heart, or from my heart. The only, I would say, expectation, or the only thing not to kind of worry about or stew over, is will we get the answer? Because we really
Right.
will.
You
And as far
will.
as I know, we will. I don't know anybody, myself included, who has never gotten an answer.
Yes.
Now, if they're so busy in their head that they only want one answer, then they might get angry, because
Or
they'll be
even
like,
three.
well,
You have to have
or
an
yeah.
open mind. Yeah, yeah. They're
No,
gonna
if
do what's
there's
best for you, or better.
exactly, or better than you could imagine.
Yeah.
And often there are so many things that we can't even conceive of, especially if we're
No
in,
idea.
especially if we're in kind of a pressure situation.
True.
We're trying to resolve something, and we don't know how to do it, or we
Yeah.
don't know
I
the
really
help.
was at wit's end with any solution to his hiccups. Like
Yeah, and poor guy, and
intense, because
yeah,
he did, poor guy. He was like really violent hiccups.
yeah, and he's suffering. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
it's not,
know.
yeah,
He did. Yeah, and he was
yeah,
coughing too because he had a cough and he just started
yeah.
taking steroids for it. So, all that hitting him at once, he was just having a hard time, and I wanted to help. And it did come from a sincere place of desperation, kind of.
Mhm.
The last resort. It shouldn't be a last resort for me by now, but it's still,
Yeah.
listeners, because I'm still shocked when it worked, and it works every. I'm still shocked, and something about being shocked can kind of block you from seeing the results too, right? If you get shocked by results, then you're going to be like, Angel, do this, do that, do that. And there's going to be results, but they're not what you think they are, right?
Right, exactly. And
Yeah.
sometimes people get angry or they get
Yes.
upset.
Yes.
It's like, well, this isn't what I asked for. And the thing is, it is actually what you asked for. And sometimes what you asked for and expected as the only answer,
Yes.
or the only acceptable answer,
Right.
really isn't the answer that you need, or even that you truly want. It's what it's what your head wants, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's what your narrow perspective or your narrow viewpoint wants. It does not
Yeah.
take into account a bigger picture, or what might actually make you tremendously happier, or more peaceful, or more truly resolved in the issue than
Yes.
what you had in mind right at that moment.
And you have to know, maybe you don't know what the actual bottom root issue is. So that's why
Right.
it doesn't look like an answer.
Exactly.
There's more to it
Exactly.
than maybe, of your situation. It wasn't just as simple as a hiccup, really.
Yeah.
Um,
One thing I think is really hard too is sometimes what we can do, and I think sometimes what we need to do, I mean, especially when we're hard up against it, it's really hard to be calm. I mean, usually we're not asking for help at a time when we're calm and peaceful and everything's okay.
yeah.
We're feeling some kind of, again, pressure or
Right.
issue,
Or sickness or pain or
sickness, pain. Yeah.
fear.
And something that needs an immediate
Right.
fix, because
Right.
we're in discomfort or beyond discomfort, and we really want help, and we want it, again, we want it now. That part's, I think, okay. But I think it's really important if we can find a way to quiet ourselves after we ask. Actually, ideally, if we can quiet ourselves right before we ask, or at
Yeah.
least, or at least,
Ideally.
or at least get into that heart space.
Yes. I think
And
we
then,
do anyway. I think you do when you,
yeah,
right, even if it's just a split second. There's
yeah,
a moment where your sincerity, and
yeah.
the reality and the magic all comes together, and the angel's there, and it happens. I don't know how.
Because that core of us is actually not upset and is not suffering. I
You're
mean,
right.
yes, it's
Hard
us,
to
it's
thought.
our essence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our essence.
Yeah, you're
Our
right.
essence is pure, right? It's not being affected by, it might have stuff piled on top of it, like a messy, bed with 25 things piled on top of it, but it's unaffected at that
Right,
moment, or at
right.
any moment. And if that's the part you can touch, like you said, even for that split second, and that's what you connect with, and that's where your request comes from, then you absolutely will get an answer. But more importantly, if you can quiet yourself after you've asked, um, and again, it's not even so much, I don't even like to use the words quiet your mind, because our minds are really, frankly,
Like
never
quieting
quiet.
your inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like
She
blank.
has, yeah, and she has, and I have used this for many, many years. I've suggested this to clients for many years, even before I knew more about her teachings. The one thing, and we can even do it, we can all do it together, whatever, the easiest, quickest way. And you don't have to worry about what you're thinking or what you're not thinking or how you're feeling or
Yes.
what you're not feeling. We all breathe because we have to.
Yes.
So her big thing is, and this is a trick I learned a long time ago, in order to be able to take a deep, slow breath, the very first thing you do before you think about that deep, slow breath in is you breathe
Out.
out completely. You empty yourself completely. And the easiest way to do that is to imagine, like I would say, your stomach or your solar plexus, pulling it toward your spine. You're actually like tight. I want to say tightening up. You're
Yeah.
pushing in toward your spine, and you almost have to.
Oh, you push down like where your bra hits, your ribs. That's what you mean, like
Yeah,
muscle.
your solar plexus. Yeah, your solar
Watching
plexus. Those
listeners, right
muscles.
where your bra hits your
Right,
ribs. if
right.
you're not,
So that's your
if you're
solar
watching,
plexus
yeah,
and your diaphragm. If you
diaphragm. Yeah,
pull in there,
that makes you poop.
you you
I kind of do that
have
when
to
I'm
breathe out.
scared anyway, because it tightens up anyway.
Yeah.
Because that's why, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you breathe that way. You will breathe out. You will empty your breath. And
Yeah.
then the next breath you take, although it may not be the slowest and deepest breath you take, is
I stopped her. it
all the way. Just bring
was
it
so strong
all the
that
way
it
in.
stopped the podcast, Donna. So, listeners and watchers, we're
So
going
that
to
was an
works.
interesting.
yeah.
And so then, your inhales after that will be a deep inhale.
Yes.
And really, if you just are like in your breath, and I'll say focused on your breath, it's amazing how quiet your mind actually gets without you trying to, once again, manage your mind by trying to quiet your mind. The whole try thing,
Yeah.
right? Like Yoda.
Yeah. This is popping into my head right this moment for some reason. I have no idea why, but it goes along with this. When you put your attention somewhere on anything in the whole world, inside you, outside you, that is using your energy, I think. So, like
Mm-hmm.
and you get better at it. It's a good way to practice using energy and recognizing it and
Mm-hmm.
your answers. So, like
Yes.
if you take the breaths, you have, when you're breathing that one in, that first one in, you're just blank, right? Because you need that breath
Yeah.
really bad, because you just ugh. And you get this blank space, and it's like you're talking about, for just a few seconds you get that moment of clarity of everything that just happened,
Yes.
and you gotta unpack it.
Well,
But
energy and breath are, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, at
chi and
least
prana,
in
and yeah, the breath
in
of life is prana, right?
prana,
Yeah.
right? So that breath and energy are the same word, at least in, I guess that's Hindu, right? I
Yeah.
mean, and I think it might be the same with chi or ki,
Yeah.
Chinese. So,
Well, chi is
um,
actually considered, or ki, I think it's
yeah.
more considered a life force, like kind of like the force in Star Wars, whereas
Mm-hmm.
like Reiki is its own thing. It's got an intelligence and a personality, kind of, and angels kind of have their own thing. It's like a lot of healing modalities, and they're all kind of different from what I understand. And
But breath, yeah. But without breath, there isn't anything. I mean, for us as
nothing.
humans, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing else without breath. So
Right. There's no life. Yeah.
yeah. So that, I think, is really, again, it's just, I'll say, even deceptively simple, because it seems like, well, that's too easy. But
You have to breathe, like you
but
said.
you have to breathe. You absolutely have to breathe. So since you have to breathe anyway,
Yeah.
that conscious breathing, if you take that couple minutes, plus your breath is always with you, right?
Yes.
I
Yeah.
mean, you're right. When you focus on something, like you can focus on a candle flame, you could
Yes.
focus on a mandala, you could focus on any one of a number of things,
And
right?
what's
And
interesting is you can
yeah,
focus. What I was going to get at was you can also focus on the inside of your body.
yes.
Like you can focus on like locations inside your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Get
Mm-hmm.
your attention span on your pineal gland, for example.
Hmm. Hmm.
What does that mean to put your attention on something? You can feel it though, can't you? Like if you're trying to put your attention span on your pituitary gland in here somewhere, I feel like I can find it because it's supposed to be your third eye, right? In here,
Hmm.
it's in the middle somewhere. And
Yeah.
if I put my attention on it, I
Yeah.
feel my attention on it. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
What is that? Frick is that? What does that mean?
Well, because we're always conscious. We're just at different levels of
Consciousness thing.
consciousness, but I mean, God forbid, unless we're
Center of our
unconscious.
consciousness is our attention.
Yeah.
Whatever we put our attention on is what we have our intentions set about,
Yeah.
right?
So in those moments that we, like you say, look within and try to go to
Yeah.
a certain part of our body, a certain part of our being, or when our attention is on our breathing, on the process of our breathing, and we
Yes.
might even see, for some people, they might be able to see their breath
Feel the colors, see
moving,
the colors.
yeah,
Yes.
moving through their body, moving
It's an
through their
imagination
chakras.
technique too to have your
Yes.
attention on something, but it's also just so natural, not to because most
Hmm.
people just space out. I have no problem spacing out, but I have ADD, like severely.
So there's there's
It's not.
times when your attention isn't on it.
You've all seen me space out and lose my conversation like 18 times a podcast before. I mean, it's like it's it's the magic. I think it's a lot of people who are very, I guess, powerful in the energy work. Or, I don't know
Mhm.
what is the right word. I guess like they don't mess up much
Mhm.
as much, or they know a lot, or they just kind of manipulate the world around them very easily. I feel like they can manipulate their attention
Mhm.
span, and when they have their attention on something, a matter. Like we had a woman on the
Mhm.
podcast who could bend spoons.
Mhm.
I was like, oh. She didn't do it on the podcast. She just talked about that's how she found
Mhm.
she was working with energy.
Mhm.
She went somewhere and someone told them, "Do you want to try bending a spoon?" Like they were doing a demonstration and they had like
Mhm.
come up and she and someone else could bend the spoons. And I was like, two people or something like that. But I was just that's how you found out you were psychic. She's like, yeah, I'd never done that before. I didn't work with energy at all. So she was telekinetic. She
Yeah.
could dang spoon. And she said she could do other things. She didn't on the podcast though. And I was kind of wondering if she would, but I didn't ask. Didn't ask. But I'd love to see that. But that's a little aside. And we can't have a good podcast without a few asides.
Yeah, it's okay. And then the other thing is, and here's to your point, the other thing, which is that just like the name of your podcast, right? We're all psychic. We all have the ability to work with energy.
Yes.
It's going to be different for
Same thing.
everybody, but
Yeah.
it's like anything else. And I've always said, I mean, there's people, I mean, like you think about Mozart, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was, composing,
When he was 3.
concertos, or whatever when he was 3 years old. Um, is everybody that? No. Can all of us maybe learn to play the piano? Probably, if we practice.
Yeah.
Might we be able to compose music? Possibly. But somewhere along that continuum, there's the ability to tap into what's out there or what's inside,
Right.
and grow that and nurture it and let it infuse or let it affect in positive ways, what's happening in our lives.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Love that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that I think is something that I hope nobody feels like the main thing, especially with the calling on angels, since they're out there for all of us. Step aside or step away from the idea that there's a right way and a wrong way. There are ways that are better and more effective.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that there's a right way and a wrong way. And it doesn't mean that if you do it wrong, something bad will happen or that nothing will happen.
The way is knowing how to listen for the answer,
Yeah.
really. Just to know where the answer is. I've had 2 experiences now. I don't know. By the time these experiences happened, I had been working with angels more and studied them more. And when I first started studying angels, I didn't feel like I was allowed to communicate with them. You know what I mean? Like you don't communicate with angels; they're just too big and great.
Mm.
But they don't. They're not. They're just like
Mm-hmm.
they communicate, and I've learned that just from. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
are you there? Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
They hear everyone as they will to do differently, but it's the energy is the same for people. They can say, I love Michael because of blah blah, and the other person's like, I do too for the same reason. And they have this similar thing about this angel that is supposed to be a concept. but they know they
Yeah.
experience the energy. They, so for one of my friends, he looks like this gorgeous romance novel hero, and he says she's always just like, oh my god. He's not acting that way. He's all normal, but now, but like when I two times Angel did not. Well, one time a friend, she was on the podcast, Sheila. She does a lot of angel healing, and she sent healing and for a certain pain I was having, and it kind of lightened up, and hers always works, but it stopped. And the angel said, "Okay, I understood it to say this to me." Just kind of came in like that. It was like, well, you need to feel it, but I can't tell you why. And as I was like, why? I'm gonna give you a break for about 10 minutes. It's like, we'll let you ease up for a little bit, but you have to feel it. And it did make sense later because I learned how to stop it myself. And the other time was really clear was after I learned Reiki. And I had mast cell activation, which is when, if you don't know, if you have an allergic reaction to nothing. It had been happening on my hands and feet all the time. And I would just take Benadryl. Nothing would stop it. It just had to go away. I'd scratch it, scratch it, scratch,
wow.
scratch. Sometimes my lungs would get tight. And but this one time it happened severely badly after I got my master Reiki certification. And I asked Archangel Raphael to take it away. And he said, why don't you try Reiki? That's what I heard him say, kind of. However, I don't know if that's what he said. But this time I I knew that he was suggesting this to me, how to do the Reiki this way, kind of told me what to do with this certain technique I do. And it works. I have stopped my mast cell activation every single time since with this.
Yeah.
And that's insane.
And that's the thing. Sometimes too, the guidance that we get won't just be the angels, I'll say, fixing whatever the problem is. Sometimes what they're going to do is like what happened to you. They're going to lead you or point you in the direction that empowers you.
That was the best and or better part. That was the or better part. Yes. Yeah. It was amazing. So that was one way I didn't expect it to play out at all. I was kind of ticked off when it was like, no, I called
it's like, wait a minute, why? Why no?
It was so gentle too. So just suggested so gently to me. Well, just try this first, and I was like, okay. I didn't want to. I wanted to just go away. It was bothering me a lot.
Well, especially again when you're in pain or you're really uncomfortable with something like that. I mean, it's like let's chop. Let's just get this taken care of. But the learning process and the empowerment is really an important tool that you wouldn't have had. Yeah, you wouldn't have had that.
I wouldn't have had that shocking miracle magic experience either,
Right.
Wouldn't have believed it, probably. It might not have happened. I don't know. I took Reiki and learned it. So obviously I've experienced it enough to believe that this is a healing energy force that do stuff. And the angel was kind of like, well, why'd you do all that? Why don't you use
it? Use it on yourself.
I can it. And it's like, yeah, I can. Do this. Like, okay, you. But they don't care if we go, why can't you? They don't care. They're okay.
No, they're fine with it.
We'll do all right. We'll fix it.
Like, don't worry. We're here. We're still here for you. We're not gone,
Yeah. And this is just everyday stuff for angels. I mean, I know Misty asks for sometimes she'll ask, we talk about her manifesting a good parking spot a lot. From an earlier podcast a long time ago, where she can just always get that parking spot. But you can ask stuff like that. They don't care. They want to help.
They want to help, and they're not judging.
No,
and they're not going by degree. Like, oh, why are you asking me for that? That inconsequential thing.
No,
they are there to help. And so, what may seem inconsequential to someone else, if right at that moment that's what you need and want, sincerely, that's what you need and want.
And it's not a greedy thing, or I'm getting
no. Really you're not getting someone else's parking. I mean.
Exactly.
It's kind of like with abundance. It's all it's out there and it is limitless. So tapping into it doesn't decrease or subtract or detract from anybody else. You didn't.
Yeah, you're taking what's already there for you.
Exactly. It's understanding that it's there for you.
Yeah, it's for all of us.
Yeah,
like
for everybody.
The angels and other things that you can do. I just want to tell this story. I think I've told this on the podcast before. Everyone's heard the story, I thought, but Misty had never heard the story. It's a Bible story, I think. But there's a story of the guy in the water and he's drowning. You know, you've heard the story. I think we talked about it in one of your podcasts, where the guy's
Mhm.
drowning in the water and and then a log. He says, "God, please
Yeah,
help me, save me from drowning." And
yeah.
a log comes up and he's like, he doesn't want that log. He's like, that log's weird, you know. Please send me like get me out of here. Don't send me anything.
Yeah.
Get me out of here. And a boat comes and they ask,
Yeah.
"Want to get on?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, God's gonna save me." You know, and he
It's
drowns.
like, this is God, the boat and the guy in the boat. That's God.
Yeah, they got to pull him up. They're right there at his doorstep in the water. But he
Right
was
there to help
that
you not
expectation of
drown.
how it was going to happen. God's hand was
Right.
going to reach out and put him on the ground. I don't know what he expected, but that's the story anyway, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that's
No,
a good
it's
metaphor for a lot of perspective of what your expectations are. You know, what are
right.
expectations? Understanding that will get you a lot of places anyway. If
Yes,
you know what you
absolutely.
want
And the
and
idea that help comes in the way that's most needed at that moment, whether you
yes,
can immediately recognize it or not, but that you will, I would say, almost invariably immediately recognize it if you set aside your preconceived notion about what the help must look like.
yes, it could be a bug hitting the window. You know, it might mean like something for you. Like, can you please send me a sign,
Yeah.
Angel, that this is safe? And
And right at that moment, boom, something,
yeah, yeah, something
and you might think, well, okay,
safe.
what
Let's
does
get
that
out
have?
of here. You know, like it's a bird or something. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
it's out of here. You know, that's an obvious sign that it's not a safe place, I would think. But let's say you're a butterfly flutters by and you're like, oh, it's safe.
Mm.
You know, and it's like a very specific kind of butterfly to you that you know for some reason they're
Mm-hmm.
spiritual. Like Misty always sees yellow butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
I always see white butterflies. I have when I was little, and lately I haven't seen
Yeah.
it again. And I have a friend whose father passed away. And ever since he passed away, like the day afterward, he started coming as a brown butterfly to her. You know, butterflies are a big one. A lot of people can relate to. My aunt comes
Yeah.
black butterfly.
Yeah.
And so like omens are huge answers sometimes.
Yes.
You have to look around you, see what's out of place, or just look around. There's always something they're giving you.
Yeah. And usually it will catch your eye.
You're right,
Like
it will.
a lot of times, I mean, you're right to be you like to be open and aware, but a lot of times you don't necessarily have to even specifically be looking for the thing. The thing will present itself in a way that really does catch your attention.
Yes, and be aware.
Even if it's a very mundane thing, it might be a thing that normally would not maybe register for
Yeah, but if the
you.
answer
Yet,
is
yeah,
no, they will still find a way to let you know it's no. You're not going to be left hanging.
exactly.
It's
And no
that's the
is
omens,
yeah,
you know.
and no is often um not yet
Yeah,
or
or
not. Yeah,
way,
yeah,
or there's a reason.
yeah.
Yeah, and if you believe in your intuition and trust that little voice in your head when you go, why not? The first one, not the one
Mhm.
doubting and hating and miserable or scared, but the one you know is the answer as to why not.
Yeah,
It's the one that's going to tell you the reason. That's
yeah.
why I don't think the angel was in my ear going, rah, 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 do Reiki. You know, it wasn't like it's in my imagination and it was
Yeah,
spiritual mediumship way, you know,
yeah.
but how do you explain that to people other than the angel said? You
Right. And
know?
yes. And again, a lot of times it is a feeling rather than words.
Yes.
Sometimes it will be words, but you
Sometimes.
won't know where those words came from or how you heard
Yeah.
them. It's not your own voice in your head, but you don't know whose voice it was in your head, but there were words and it was like, okay, I'll take it. You
I
know,
love that. Yes,
I,
exactly.
I,
Exactly.
I have just and I think with practice, we tend to relax more into the idea that something will come to us. And if we're relaxed enough to say, I'm prepared to accept that in whatever way it comes,
Yeah.
then it comes that much more easily.
That's like
The
a mantra.
practice, yeah, the practice becomes that
In
much
any form it
easier.
comes. Yeah, I love that.
Mhm.
It's like
Yeah,
get that used to that feeling. I'll be grateful for any form of communication.
right. And I'll be grateful because I know it'll
Receptive.
be the right thing. Exactly.
If you're telling yourself that, you'll believe it eventually, even if you don't now. You will believe it.
Right.
Train yourself to believe yourself.
Yes. Yes. To believe your own wisdom
yourself, yeah.
and to believe the wisdom that you get from
Yes. Yes, you have
your
that.
angels, guides. Yeah.
Yes, you have that was that's for you. That's what it's here for.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
me and you, all of us. And
And again, it is there for everybody.
no,
It's not reserved for some special
no, it's not
people,
reserved.
and it's not reserved for a special kind of practice or a special kind of process. It's
Yeah,
there for all of us. And no matter
right.
how, I'll say, imperfectly we tap in, If we tap in with a sincere, with a sincere heart, a sincere wish, a sincere need, a sincere request, we will always be answered. And I rarely speak in absolutes, but we will always.
You're right. You don't. I don't either.
Right.
I rarely will say I know anything. I mean, I can't
Right.
say that. I still don't say. I feel like I feel comfortable saying there's always an answer to an angel. I do.
Yes.
Ask.
But I stay
I
away.
feel comfortable with that.
Yeah. And I stay away as much as
I'm
possible
comfortable
from
with.
either always
Yes.
or never, because I don't believe really, except in very limited cases, in always or never.
Me too.
There's a whole bunch of middle. Those
Yes.
two are very, very far apart. They're the absolute outer extreme. And again, that's why I will say I rarely, because I can't say I never say always, because I'm contradicting myself. I'd already be contradicting myself. But rarely. And again, they are rare. All of that middle leaves us a lot of leeway. And if we give ourselves some grace, and not be in the headspace that wants to judge and looks for perfection.
And judge ourselves and judge angels. You don't got to judge anybody.
Yeah. There's no need for judgment. There only needs to be the request and then the response. And then if there's action to take, and sometimes there is, then to trust that action and go ahead and take it.
Yes. And then say thank you.
And then say thank you.
You don't have to, but it helps. It just makes
it really helps a lot. Being grateful.
Everything better. Gratitude's just the best feeling. I mean, if you just genuinely feel gratitude,
the
best feeling in the world. It's one of them, definitely. I think. Just to be like, even if I don't feel grateful, I will ask my guides sometimes, and it'll put me back in alignment, I guess you could say, with myself.
Yes.
Like, guides, just let me feel some gratitude for something. Yeah. They'll point stuff out to me if I'm not.
Yeah. I try every single day to, and I don't mean try in the Yoda sense. I make the effort every single day to look for the things, and it is really more than one thing, even on a really bad day. I mean, on a really bad day, there is something for me to be grateful for, to be thankful for, and to find a way to say, thank you for that. Thank you.
Right. Yeah. And it can be
thank you is the most powerful. Yeah. It's the most, it's one of the most
that's eternal things. Too. It goes back and forward in time. It just, gratitude just goes everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. It feels.
And it builds on itself.
I mean, have you ever been in a household where people are like say grace over their food, for example? They have gratitude for the food they eat, and they have gratitude for their house, and they have gratitude for their family and all that. They just carry that with them. You walk in their house, you're going to feel something different in that house. Do you not?
Yes.
They're sincerely grateful. It's not like, because God said I have to be grateful, or I'm saying I'm grateful and I don't feel it. If you don't feel it, it'll affect you. But if you think about it, you will be grateful for it, I think, And
there is almost always something to be grateful for.
You're right.
Actually, and especially when we're feeling at our worst. I mean, when we're really feeling down, when we're really feeling, beaten.
That's when I ask my guides to help me feel gratitude.
Exactly. And to say, what? I'm still breathing.
Yes.
I'm still here, which means I can do something, right? There'll be something else besides this moment here and now. So I'd rather have that. I'd rather be here and breathing than not.
Right. Exactly. And that's just great. That's to be grateful for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about just real quick about another group of angels in our lives, Donna, Everclear.com.
Yes.
Sponsor, they're an angels. They're angels. I prayed to angel earlier, like in that night for the hiccup. I'm just calling Everclear. The whole company is an angel. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
They're a sponsor.
I'm so glad I found. Yeah.
Yes, we are both advisors there, and you can get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve from the advisors on Everclear.com or the app in the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. Mm-hmm. I am Lisa P on there, Leesa with the letter P afterwards.
And I am Maria M.
Maria M. You'll see her face. She looks.
Yeah. It looks like me.
I want to call you every time I see that picture. I'm just like, she's so happy. That's like you. I'd call you in a minute. And lastly, Donna, do you have any advice for the listeners about how to broaden their perspectives enough to know how to know they're listening? Sometimes you don't know if you know you're listening, if that's confusing as that sounds.
Yeah, and I know it does sound confusing. I think if you set aside the idea of the how, in other words, how will the message come? Will I hear it? Will I see it? Will I see a sign? Will I see the angel in front of me? Um, if you just set all that aside and understand that any and always are open, depending on what the need of the moment is.
Yeah.
And that when something catches your attention, whether it's that little voice in your head or that little voice that comes from the quiet place inside you, not your busy mind, says, maybe you're out driving, turn here. Maybe that's not the way you usually go, or maybe you were going to go somewhere else and you change your route or whatever. All I would say is just go with it. Just go with
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah. Let it go.
Yeah, just go with it. Say, you know what? Okay. There's a whole thing for people, if anybody's ever either seen or done improvisational theater, that there's one thing that you learn really early on, and that's yes and.
Yes,
So
and
when you watch people doing improvisation, and because they're ad-libbing, right? They're doing it in the moment,
what is
back
yes
and
and?
forth.
Let's play it. What is it? Show me.
So if I said, Lisa, I pulled this tarot card and I have no idea what it means. Can you tell me what the Eight of Discs means?
And I say yes, and anything I want, or do I describe it?
Yeah. Well, again, anything you want to keep
Oh,
it's to keep the interaction going.
okay. So I'd be like, yes, it is the Eight of Pentacles, and it
Yeah.
means that you are working right now. And then you go, yes, and.
Yeah, and yes, and you're right. And you know what? I've been trying to, improve my writing skill, my writing skills or
Yes.
whatever. So the idea that because it keeps the energy flowing, it keeps the dialogue going, it tells the story.
Okay.
So to approach life with a bit of that, and I'm not saying everything in life has to be by the seat of our pants, because
Oh no.
there's something to be said for planning and there's
Yeah,
something to be said for routine. All those things have their place. But particularly if you have just called upon the angels for help, guidance, and assistance, it is a great idea to go ahead and say in your head or out loud if you want to, yes, and.
yes, and I see.
And
Yes.
allow yourself to enter the dialogue, to enter the energy exchange.
Gandalf's going crazy over here.
I see a tail. I see a tail.
He's knocking cards everywhere. He's taking fast. He's like, you've been there long enough, talking to her long enough.
Yeah, exactly. I am ready for some
Knocked the cards, he knocked the mic, he knocked the computer. He's saying, listeners and watchers, he won't let Donna talk anymore.
He says, we're done.
He's like, I say,
Hey, Gandalf.
oh, yeah. Oh, he's so cute.
Such a pretty boy.
He's letting us see his face. He never does that.
Yeah, I know.
He knows he's on camera.
He's on camera and he knows he's beautiful.
knows he's a rock star. Would you ask for, you know, I asked for you, little angel. I asked for a gray angel cat. Guess what?
And look what you got.
Gray cat.
Exactly right.
Got a gray cat. Okay, listeners and watchers, thank you again, Donna.
Thank you.
Where else can they find you? Where can they find you? Is Everclear anywhere else? You got articles out there. You got articles.
Yeah, I've got articles out there. If you look at top 10, those are some articles that I've written. And I believe the website is still out there. They're under Donna Murphy, though, not under my Everclear name.
Okay.
And also my own website, dstnytarot.com. It's Destiny without the E and the I. Easy to find. I've been on hiatus as far as writing my blog, but I'm thinking about how to restart that. It probably won't be writing. It'll probably be video. We're boring the heck out of Gandalf, though. He just yawned.
It's adorable. It's freaking adorable.
But anyway, yeah. So I'm easy. I'm easy to find. And I hope you will.
You're just write me, and I'll find her for you. I know.
She does know where I live.
I can find her astrally. Or Gandalf will. He's a little
Yes.
shat. He'll find you.
Yeah, he's so cool.
So thank you so much again, listeners and watchers. We love you. Misty loves you. Donna loves you, right?
Very much so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing and talking to you soon.
Bye. Peace out. Wait.